we are live. We are restreaming, baby. Alright. Just trying to get the chat up here, and then we're going to get the drawing. How are you? How are you? Pop out the chat. That way we can see our vertical chat. And we can see our OBS chat. Now we're cooking. What's going on? What's going on? All right. Let's get into it. Whoop. Let's get into it. All right. Let me find my pencils. These bad boys sharpened. All right, y'all, let's cook. Okay. Okay. Okay, something like that. What do we think? That's a face, y'all. That's a face. We're off and running. Okay, so let's find some shadows. There we go. Something like that. Something like that. I'm not being too picky here. I'm playing the clouds game. Whatever face that I saw there, we're just reiterating. So I'm not going to spend too much time concerning myself with the little details. We just want to get it done and out the way. Let's find some darkness in the pupils here. Maybe the nostrils. We're just adding some extra contrast to kind of bring in some focus there. Kind of looks like he's smiling. I don't think we're going to smudge this guy. I think we're just going to stick with that. Boom. First face done. One and done. What do you think? You want to see some details? Crazy scribbles become a face. Still feel like maybe. Oh, look at Rose is on 2 channels now. Not only am I restreaming, but apparently so is Rosie. She's got her double stream popping too, apparently. What's up, Tammy? My day's doing pretty good. How's your day going? Are you an artist, Tammy? If you just joined us, be sure and like and subscribe. If you like the stream, we can get some more people in here hanging out with us. Y'all ready for this? Alright, it's another 2-hander. Something like that. Something like that, maybe. Alright, what do we think? Do y'all see a face in there? That's not too bad. That's not too bad. We see the face. What's up, Olivia? Ella, have you named the drawing? What's going on? How are y'all? Okay, so let's add some shadows. What's up, 0 Point? What's up, ADHD? Welcome to the stream. Be sure to like the stream and subscribe. I'd appreciate it, please. Trying to get to 1,000. We're on a subathon here. Road to 1,000 subs. So if you could do me a favor and subscribe, I would appreciate that. So maybe we do a little bit of some more details here. See, I'm not trying to work too hard or concern myself on whether things are in the right places. I just want to kind of have a nice time pushing the chalk around and like trying to make that what's important. You know, the realism isn't the most important thing. Proportions, composition, none of that is important to me when I'm doing this kind of thing, as is just having a nice time and putting expressive lines out. If you try to make all your lines perfect and exact and realistic, the more perfect, the more realistic it looks, sometimes the less it has your own style to it, you know. Tammy, 0. What did 0 say? Wouldn't say he's the next Picasso. Well, thanks. He's not trying to be rude. I get it. I'm just saying for the rush job is good. Thanks, 0. I get it. What's up, Olivia? All Olivia, 2014. Welcome to the scene. Thanks for being here, my guys, my gals, my non-binary pals. You're all welcome. Welcome here. Does anybody have any requests? I can't promise I'll do them, but I'll listen. Are you an artist? Anybody in the chat? Are you an artist? What kind of art do you do if you're an artist? Are you not an artist? Do you just love art? If not, what kind of films and music? What kind of pop culture are you partaking in these days? So what do we think? Can we see a face now? I don't think that's too bad. That's a scholarly looking fella here. Henry, what's up, dude? Henry says, I play piano. That's very cool, Henry. I play guitar. Put a little more, just maybe put a little more detail. Well, thanks for the input, 0, but I don't want to spend too much time on this one drawing, because then I get to be too concerned and I overwork them. You know, part of the philosophy is to just have fun and kind of move on. If you do enough drawings, you don't get so attached to them, so you can just kind of move on pretty quickly. If you've only done a few drawings, you kind of get really precious about them. I think the trick is to do lots of drawings, and then you don't have to be so precious about them, and you can just kind of do a bunch of them and try things and throw them away if you want to. You know, and a lot of the style is just focusing on expressing yourself. You know, there's so many times in life where you got to take things so seriously, or you got to be hard on yourself, or things got to be perfect. And art is something that where you don't have to. You can just take it easy. Do some drawings. Be easy on yourself. Scribble on some paper. Play some piano. Am I right, Henry? What do y'all think about the details? And like the close-ups? What's up, Robert? Body rejected. Wait, it's so good. I have, here's some more details. We'll do some more. You see how this one, we did a little smudging to get some extra softness. Those details. Flag says, sighing in homosexual. What is Zentangle art? I don't know. You tell me. Henry says, I love it. Thanks, Henry. Are you an artist? Oh, Henry, you're the piano player. I keep rolling my eyes on y'all. You tell them, Flag. Constanza, Sophia. Rosie says, looks beautiful. Thank you, Rosie. It's better than the best drawer in my school. Thank you. Anne, wow, actually really cool. Thank you, Anne. Mr. Mod got him up. Oh, we still got it on the Twitch. Rosie, did you find it over to the vertical stream yet? Okay, let's do another one. Okay, y'all ready? Let's do another one. This fella. Tell me I'm better than the best drawer at your school. Well, that's the thing about art is nobody's better. It's just different, you know? And I want to remind you that the way I'm drawing isn't about being good or being better. It's just about having fun and kind of focusing on the line values and the shadows and not focusing on it being good or perfect or realistic. You know how like when you write a signature, when you write your name, you don't concern yourself with about how realistic your name is. You just kind of go through this process like writing your name over and over and over. What's up, Fat Nuggets? What's up, Ann? Welcome, Zentangle everything. Sonia, welcome to the chat. Y'all be sure and subscribe if you don't mind. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please like the stream so we can get some more people here in the community. I sure would appreciate it. Let's put some shadows in here. Something like that. But yeah, like focus on the lines and like draw lines that you have fun drawing and try not to focus on everything having to be realistic. I think if you can draw lines that are fun, you know, when it's time to do your signature, it's exciting and you want to do your signature. It's not like stressful. It's usually like a very exciting, flattering moment. And that's because you're focusing on the lines and the lines in your signature you've drawn so many times that you feel comfortable and confident when you draw those lines. And I think that you could do that in your art instead of focusing on it being perfect or being the composition or the ratios or the proportions. Just ask yourself, like, are these lines fun to draw? Are these the comfortable lines that only my hands can draw? You know? And stop focusing on it, whether it's realistic or whether it's perfect, and just kind of let go and let the drawing kind of fall out of your hand in a way that, and it takes practice. You know, it takes a lot of practice to kind of give yourself permission to kind of not be so hard on yourself. Thank you, Zentangle. That's very nice of you to say. I love your drawings too. I bet all the people hating can't even draw. Nobody's hating. He's doing abstract art style to depict a person, so most people see a face, and that's what the intended vision, but it can be interpreted however. You're right. Thanks, Flack. Luska, nice sketch. Thank you. And again, I think it's less about the sketch being beautiful and more about like giving yourself a place to express yourself. You know, if you think about it, every single day you have so many conflicts in your life, you know, through your family, through work, maybe your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your husband or your wife. There's so many dumb things in life that put stress and pressure on you. And if you're always focused on making everything perfect, always focused on making the right decisions. I mean, there's so many other places in life where you can do that. But in art, it's one of those places where you don't have to put any pressure on yourself. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to look like anything specific. It can just be anything that you want it to. And I think sometimes we forget that about art and we think that it's got to be impressive or realistic, and that we forget that the process, the act of putting the lines on the paper, the act of smudging charcoal around, that is really where the beauty in the art is. The finished product is just kind of like what's left over, you know? Think about like going exercising. You know, when you go for a jog and you start getting healthier, it's the act of jogging that's really where the magic is. It's not looking back. You know, the magic isn't like, oh, I'm in great health now. The magic is the process, and I think we forget that sometimes. Thank you, Ann, for the sub. Anybody else here joining and hanging out, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the stream if you would. I'd appreciate it. We stream around 3 times a week. You know what? Let's do some jazz musicians. What do y'all think about that? Man, stream is looking mighty warm. That's okay. Let's look at some jazz musicians. What do y'all think? We'll use the same style of art. And remember, like, the idea is to be expressive with the lines, to relieve stress rather than create stress. You know? You can really easily put a lot of stress on yourself when making art. It's natural. But if you practice, you can make art without putting any stress on yourself. And I think that's when you start focusing on what lines you're deciding to use, how you're deciding to put those lines down. I'm using two hands because I think losing a little bit of control allows me to be a little more expressive and focus on my mind and focus on the process. If you're always in control, you don't allow like some of your subconscious to come forward, and you end up just kind of regurgitating and ending up with a drawing that looks like anyone can do it. But if you kind of like let go of a little bit of control and let your subconscious take over, maybe you'll end up with something stylistic, you know? Hey, Golden Chicken Nugget. What's up, Kevin? What's up, Ilana? Hey, Anthony Womack. Thank y'all for being here. I have to go. I love your artwork and creativity. Thank you, Constanza. Thanks to you for hanging out. Please sub. I'd love to see you at another chat. What's this style called? Let's call it, I don't know, impressionistic figure drawings or blind contour drawings, maybe. Can you do a cat? If you subscribe, I'll start doing some requests maybe towards the end of the stream. Are any of you artists as well? Your name is Gabriel too? Very cool. Well, welcome, Gabriel. All right, so let's keep going. Again, like, I'm not trying to judge myself. I'm just gonna have a nice time putting these lines on the paper, and I'll be surprised as you are at the end when we look at the drawing. You know, it's not even like I know what the drawing's gonna come out like. I'm just gonna do the drawing, and like, let's just be surprised together at what the drawing looks like, you know? And also it's like a bit of like not caring, you know, like giving up a little bit of the focus on things got to be perfect. Like, there's so many times in our lives where you have to focus on being perfect and you have to do things a certain way, and that's important in those situations. But luckily for us, art is one of those things where you can learn to give yourself some grace and give yourself a break, and learn like some things really aren't that important, you know? And the things that are important, you can focus on those, and the things that aren't important, well, you don't have to focus on those. But there's something in art where we can learn what's important and what really doesn't matter. And when you're drawing, you realize like so many of these individual lines, like they don't really matter as much as you might think they do. All the details don't really matter as much as you might think they do. And that what really matters is how you feel when you're creating the art, like, and expressing yourself in a way that's not only fun but healthy and inspiring. So like when you're doing a piece of art, like it's not always about like what the piece of art's going to look like. Think, you know, you might have a conflict in your life. We all deal with conflict, and sometimes the conflict comes from school, or it might come from work, or your business partner, or your girlfriend. There's so many conflicts in our lives, and life can be tough on the easiest of days. And I just want to remind you that you have a superpower as a human to express yourself through art. And that's what is important about the art, is that you are taking time to express yourself through art and not be so concerned with everything being perfect, you know? You have trouble drawing dinosaurs' feet? Just your everyday nerd. What's up, dude? Welcome back. King Death is here. What's up, King Death? And can you draw a dog? Yeah, I can. We'll do them at the end of the stream today if we get to it. If not, sub and we'll definitely do one. Anthony Womack drawing. I am art. I love it, Anthony. Oh, welcome to the community. That's the kind of people we want here. Just your everyday nerd. How you been? Welcome back. It's nice to see you again. What's been up? Thanks, Golden Chicken. Thanks, Gabriel. All right, so now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna find some highlights, and I'm gonna look at my picture, and I'm just gonna put some highlights where I think some highlights should be. Like, I can see in the picture of this jazz musician where the highlights are, and I realize that, oh, that's not the right spot, or I missed something, or I did something wrong. But instead of fixing it, I'm just gonna keep going and just think to myself, that mistake that I made was worth making. And I got to remind myself that it really doesn't matter. You know, none of these individual lines or these individual mistakes matter. And honestly, as these mistakes match up, stack up, they start to create a style. They start to create my style. And I think that's important. And I think it has a lot to do with like I said, if you know, there's so many places in our life where we deal with conflict, and there's not a lot of places in life where we kind of like get rid of conflict. And I think part of being a human is you have this superpower that when things get tough or life gets hard or you're struggling with things emotionally, you know, sometimes you might have some kind of conflict at school. And I want to remind you that you can go take all those negative feelings and you can transform it into something positive. And I think that's really special, and that's really magical, that you have that special power, that no matter how bad things get, that you can go write a story about it, or you can draw a picture about it, you can write a play about it, you can make a movie about it, you can go play a game about it. And I want you to remember that art isn't about this beautiful final product. Art is about being a better person when you get to the end of that piece of art. It doesn't have to be beautiful. It can, and over time it might, but don't forget that it's more about self-expression than it is about a final product. And I think that's something we get mixed up with AI art. Like, sure, you can do a prompt and end up with a pretty picture, but you've lost the process. I think the process is how we become better people. The process is how we make a better world, because through the process, we take all the negativity in our lives and we transform it into something positive. And I think that's fucking magical. That's a superpower. You are magical when you can take negativity in your life and you can transform it into something positive. That's a fucking superpower. You know, and you can do that too. And it comes down to like not judging yourself, giving yourself some grace, just allowing yourself to freely draw on a sheet of paper. And I think over time we learn about life. You know, what's up, Crystal the Pansexual? Welcome to the crew. What's up, NC? Insas Arugalo? A glue? I don't know how to pronounce that. Christy, Yeo, Aaliyah, welcome to the chat. Please like the stream and sub. And don't forget, like, you know, when we deal with conflicts in our lives, that shit mounts up and it gets tough. And I want you to remember, don't take it out on yourself. Don't take it out on yourself. Do not take it out on yourself. Take it out on a drawing. Take it out on a poem. Take it out on a story. Take it out on film. Take it out in your journal. Don't take it out on your friends. Don't take it out on your family. Don't take it out on your community. Don't take it out on the drywall. Take it out on art. You have this beautiful talent where you can transform negative energy into something positive. And that's fucking amazing. Did make a video about my present self talking to my past self from my senior year. That's interesting. My past self wanting to know more and more about how life now is and how we survived it. It's called Talk with Myself. I love that, Rosie. That's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. Indignant pan noises. Pot noises, pan noises, turns into pot. Look at y'all having a good time in the chat. All right, moving on. And I don't want you to forget that art is not about having this beautiful finished product. It's about giving yourself some grace. It's about getting to know yourself. Like every drawing is a self-portrait if you're really expressing yourself while you're doing it. And I want you to focus more on giving yourself some grace, telling yourself it's okay to make a mistake, and moving forward with art in that thought process. Like there's no reason while you're making art to be hard on yourself or to give yourself a hard time. There's so many parts of our lives where we're hard on ourselves and we're forced to make the perfect decision, and there's so much pressure and conflict. And I think when you're making art, it's one of those times in life where you can give up on that pressure. You can let go of that conflict, and instead of building the conflicts, you're able to let them go. And I think that really the root to being able to let go of some of those conflicts is like learning to not judge your drawings, not to draw them, not even to judge yourself, especially while you're drawing. You can't really like edit and create art at the same time. You're either editing or you're creating art. And I think sometimes that we get stuck editing as soon as we start drawing, and we don't give ourselves time to just kind of enjoy the process. And I think so much of the art is the process. And if you're drawing lines that are fun, and you're thinking about the negativity in your day, you're thinking about the conflicts, and you're expressing those conflicts through your work. So each line could be a little bit of that frustration of my day just kind of burning off. So instead of drawing the perfect line, I want to draw a line that kind of gets that stress off my back. Does it have to be perfect? That makes it perfect to me, because it's able to help me express myself. And I think that can be more important than anything. And if you have fun drawing lines, I feel like the audience is going to have fun looking at them. And I also think that if you're transforming negativity into positivity through your art, you're going to give other people permission to transform negativity into positivity through their art and through self-expression. And over time, if we're all just like taking negativity and transforming it into positivity through art, then like we have the chance to make the world better, just like one piece of art at a time, and it sounds, romantic, but I mean, if I'm having a bad day and I can come in here and I can make a piece of art and I'm not having a bad day anymore, I feel better about myself, I feel better about the world, I think that makes my day better. And if every time somebody deals with that kind of conflict, if they can go lock themselves in a room and convince themselves to draw a picture or write a poem, then they're taking a little bit of that negativity from the world and they're making it positive. And if everybody's doing that, like, the world is going to be more positive. I mean, that's just how things work. And there's something beautiful and expressive about art that doesn't matter. It's like, and when I say art doesn't matter, it's not that the art doesn't matter, it's that when I'm making it, I don't have preconceived notion of how great or how bad or how realistic the art should be. I'm just asking myself, do I feel comfortable while making this art? Am I having fun while making this art? Am I reducing the stress and the conflict when I'm making art? Because there's so much where you'll just like give yourself a hard time because it's not perfectly realistic, or it's not this, or it's not that. And I don't think any of that really matters. You know, we just have to make some realistic looking art at some point in life just to understand what making art is. But I think so much of it is just like getting it off your chest, you know, like having a bad day and then scribbling on a sheet of paper. And I think that is more important than how realistic the picture is. And I do realistic drawings too, and I love realistic art. I don't think that realistic art is any less art. It's just not, it's a different kind of art. You know, some art is like a craft, some art is like engineering, and some art is all about expression, you know. Let me look at the chat. I'm sorry. Art Rosie says, art is a way of escapism, and wanting to be in a safe place like this community, I was seeking to look for community where I felt not only seen as an artist, I felt seen from a community of amazing people, and I would ask in any other way. This community has helped me so much that you have no clue. Thank you, Rosie. That's beautiful of you to say. Thank you. Flag. Do you have any social media, Crystal? Oh, look, we got some friends. Do y'all like Has-Been Hotel? On YouTube, that's my main account. Be sure and make sure you're all subscribing and liking the stream. I would like y'all to be on the next stream with us. I'm using my sister's phone right now because my phone's a country singer. Good guess, Crystal. Where do you find reference photos? I just Googled jazz musicians. King edits. Are you an artist, King? What's up, Carla? That's so sick. Thanks, Carla. Caleb. What's up, Caleb? Good night, Golden Chicken. Good night, Gabriel. Maybe do Nerd. Once again, loving your drawings. Thanks, Nerd. Could I request in a bit? What you want to request? What's up? Crystal's back. Anyone else own a pit bull? I own a cat. King says, yes, I'm a learning artist. Very cool. Very cool. All right, well, let's finish this up. Let's add a couple more highlights here, and then we can move on to maybe some requests. I hear you, kitty cat. Let me make sure you got plenty of food in your bowl. But yeah, if you're an artist and you're creating work, or you're thanks, Sam. If you're making art, try to think about that. Like there's something about when you're making art like this and you're kind of just being expressive, and at some point you realize, like, hey, this doesn't really matter. You know, this particular line doesn't matter, or this little thing here doesn't matter. And you start to be easier on yourself, so that when you start to make mistakes, you're like, hey, that's not a big deal. That mistake's not a big deal, you know? And I think over time you learn that some things don't matter, you know? And you put a lot more pressure on yourself than you need to. And I think if you can go draw a picture or write a poem or start a film or something, and you're being creative, and it gives you these opportunities to have realizations about things that matter and things that don't matter. When you get into other situations in life, you'll have all this practice at dealing with things that matter and things that don't matter. And I think going through the process of making art is what's going to teach you those things. It's going to teach you how to give yourself some grace. It's going to teach you how to give other people grace. And there's something about making expressive art where you don't have control, you know? And so many times in life, you know, we don't have all the control. And if you can learn to like function confidently and function passionately and function well, even when you don't have all the control, that's a wonderful skill to bring into the rest of your life. You know, so if you can sit at home and you can take all that negative energy and all the drama and the conflict you deal with your life. And I want you to take all that negativity and you could ball it up. You could take that negativity and you could spread it onto a canvas. You can take that argument, you can take that speeding ticket, you can take that bad grade, you can take that bad day, you can take that argument and you can put it into a painting. You can put it into a drawing, you can put it into a song. And that's what all those amazing artists and musicians that you look up to, that's what they're doing. They're not just making pretty pictures or writing pretty stories, or they're expressing themselves through art. And I think that's a very healthy, important part of life as a human, is to express yourself when you have conflict. If you're having a bad day, tell someone, you know? And when you do have a bad day, take it out on a drawing. Take it out on poetry, take it out on a movie, take it out on a job, take it out on a video game. You know, you have an amazing talent as a human being, an amazing opportunity, and I want to encourage you to not draw pretty pictures, not draw the perfect picture, but express yourself. Take those conflicts that you're dealing with and funnel that into your work. If you're having a bad day, go draw. Go draw about it. Don't take it out on yourself. Don't take it out on yourself. Do not take it out on yourself. Take it out on art. That is literally why we have it. That is the most important part of the art, is that self-expression, for you to take it out like that. Don't forget that. It's the most important part in a world that moves so fast with computers and AI art. You can be fooled into thinking that what's important is a pretty final product. And sometimes a pretty final product can be important, but the process of expressing yourself, learning yourself, giving yourself grace, showing yourself some love, learning to make mistakes, and not trying to change yourself, and just allowing yourself to express however yourself might. You know, that's very, very important, you know? Rosie says, speaking of gaming, she's in a gaming club, a techno club, a D&D club, a mental health club, a student media club, a teaching club, and a pride club. I love it. Busy girl. Hard to find good live art streams like you on YouTube. Thanks, King. Be sure and subscribe. Samurai EXE, did you subscribe to? Cool art, yo. Thank you so much. I did a water painting and finished it tonight. Very cool, Michael. We have a Discord. If you want to share your art in the Discord, feel free. You made a short, like a short film? I'm a filmmaker. I've directed 3 feature films. Preach, Michael Bush says. Thanks, Mike. Be sure and subscribe, y'all, and like the stream so we can get more people in here. I've been wondering, are you self-taught artists or did you take classes? Here's the thing. I want to dispel about self-taught artists. It's all the same thing. Like, I was drawing since I was a little kid because my mother was an artist. So you're not born with this natural talent to draw. It's something you work on. And because my mother was an artist, I started drawing when I was really young, you know? So in that case, I'm self-taught. But if you're in love with any art form, you should go take lessons. If you really love art, go take lessons, go learn. I don't think being self-taught is bragging. Self-taught is saying, I don't love it. If you really love art, go learn all about it. Go watch every YouTube about it. Go learn all about your favorite artist. If you really love music, learn music theory. I think being self-taught is, I don't even know what that means. You know, I've been drawing since before I could write my name, but I wasn't self-taught. Like, my mother taught me, or life taught me, and I also went to art school, you know, but I was drawing way before then, you know. But I think being self-taught or going to school, I think if you really love the art, you're going to want as much knowledge as you can get about it. Struggo Buggo just rated the Twitch. I will remind you if you're on YouTube vertical, we also have a Twitch. If you're on Twitch, we're also Struggo Raid. Thanks for following, John. Michael Bush, as much love. Faith, what's up, Faith? Hi, Faith. I'm in a band and I got a guitar. Me too, Faith. I'm in a band and I have a guitar as well. Look, I'll show you. Some days we do music streams, by the way. And we also have our kitty cat, our stream cat. Get raided! What's up, Strogo Buggo? Thank you for raiding. Very cool of you. Yeah, hell yeah. Fender Stride and a kitty cat. That's my life. What's up, Albera? Used to play drums at church? That's really cool. Drums are awesome. All right, so same thing, like, I'm just scribbling here, and I'm not sure, I'm like actively trying not to judge myself, and it's hard, you know. When you first start drawing, you're going to kind of judge every line you draw, like that's not good enough, or that's not in the right spot, and I think if you start to tell yourself that it's okay to not put the lines all in the right spots, that your drawings start to take on a new style and a new life of their own. And I think that Gabriel, Golden Chicken, what's your request again? I forgot. But I will do it. I'll do it next. But if you kind of start to give yourself permission to kind of draw something, but it doesn't really matter what it is, and just like let your hand kind of move around a page, and then you can be surprised with the drawing just like I am, you know. So like I didn't know exactly what this art was going to look like. I just started drawing it, and then okay, it looks fine, you know. And it's not about having an end product or doing anything perfectly, but so much as just like putting some lines on paper and then looking at them afterwards. You know, I want you to think about like when you see images in a cloud. Everybody, chat, let me ask you this. When you see images in a cloud, who's the artist that creates the images in a cloud? Chat, tell me that. Who's the artist that creates images in a cloud? What's up, Tulsi? I'm from Louisiana, United States, and I currently am in California. Hi, Izzy. All right, so you know what? I'm not even going to touch that one. I'm just going to leave it like that. I think that one looks pretty good. I don't think I need to add much more details to that one. I'd be okay with that. Yeah, so if you see an image in the clouds, who's the artist? I think the answer is you are. You're the artist. You know, so it's like if I'm making art here and we're just putting scribbles on paper, like, what's up, Scoop? Nice to have you back. Michael Bush. Okay, Gabriel. Golden Nugget, what was your request? Was a T-Rex with fur and antlers. The fur is everywhere, but the head is lower than the body. Okay, that's a little out of my pay grade, Gabriel. We gotta simplify that. Be right back. Gotta partake of me and my girlfriend's daily tradition of her giving to. That's a good tradition, Flag. Golden Chicken, Gabriel. If we don't get to your request tonight, we'll get to it eventually. We'll get to it next stream. We're gonna probably just do one more face. Let me look. I think we might just do one more portrait, and then I'm gonna get out of here. I'm getting hungry. But I want to remind you, guys, gals, non-binary pals, if you haven't heard it recently, I love you. I'm proud of you. You're becoming a better person and a better artist every day. Keep that up. Great job. You know, life is tough, and we're all getting through it, and I see that. And I appreciate you being here. You could be anywhere, and you're here hanging out with us, and I think that's really cool. And I think you're important. I think that the world is a better place because you're in it. And don't forget that. What's up, John Mars? I just think pareidolia, since I know the word. Exactly. But the world is a better place because you're in it. You know, and if you make art, and you leave around art, or you make music, or you talk about your feelings, you're putting yourself into the world, and I think that even makes the world better, you know. So don't let anybody tell you that. You're not alone. You got a community like this, you know, all over the world. They have people here that are willing to come look at art and have conversations about how they feel. You know, if you're having a bad day, don't feel alone. You've always got people here in this community. You've always got art. No matter what they take from you, they can't take away your creative expression. You can sit in a room and hum a song to yourself, and that's art. You can scribble with a pencil and a sheet of paper. You know, they can't take that expression from you. You can write stories. You can think of stories. And I want you to remember that you're important, you're loved, you're creative, you're not alone. I'm here with you. And life is going to be full of conflict. Every day you're going to deal with all kinds of conflicts in your life. And that's normal. And I want you to remember that when you deal with these conflicts, whether it's school, whether it's work, you know, and sometimes we end up conflict within ourselves. You know, maybe we got a mental conflict or a physical conflict. You know, maybe we're dealing with some health circumstances. But I want you to remember that in all of those conflicts, that you have this superpower. That you can go sit in a room alone and you can express yourself on a sheet of paper. You can draw about it. You can paint about it. You can write a story about it. I don't care where the conflict comes from within you, from your life. You can express yourself through art, and you can get rid of so many of those conflicts in such a healthy, positive way. And it's really like there really is magic in the world. You know, there's magic everywhere, and the only way that it reveals itself is through art. You know, and that's not controlling things. The magic is not judging yourself when you're making art. The magic is having a bad day and transforming that bad day into art. That's the magic. That's the superpower that you have. You are a superhero because you are born as a human that has that kind of opportunities. Gabriel started watching your lives, and you're a better teacher than you will ever have taught me that being myself is okay. Well, good, Scoop. I'm glad to hear that, my dude. True that. Nicole says, for real. What's up, Nicole? Well, I appreciate you saying that, Scoop. Not only that, but I'm proud of you for speaking up and communicating. You know, there's so many opportunities where, you know, you don't get to talk about how you feel or what you're dealing with. And here in this room, here in this stream, here while we're creative, it's about being expressive. It's not about holding your feelings in. It's about getting your feelings out. What's up, Abby? Welcome back. How was dance? Speaking of expressing yourselves. So don't forget that really what you're doing is you're expressing yourself, and that there's a way to take these bad days and these bad feelings, these big feelings, you know. Sunset Bunny says, I feel dyslexic today. I also feel autistic and gay. Well, that's beautiful, Sunset Bunny. It's okay. I love you for that. You're a beautiful individual because of those specific things. You're a beautiful, dyslexic, autistic, gay bunny, and we all love you. And I'm proud of you for coming in and just saying something about who you are and how you feel. That's very expressive, and I think that's important, you know? And I think when there's something called a permission structure, okay? So like if everybody's telling you that you have to be perfect or that you have to make the perfect art or you have to be a certain way, like that's all you have permission to do is be perfect, is to make things realistic, is to do the right decisions, is to be like everybody else. And as soon as you can have somebody who can say, hey, your art doesn't have to be perfect, you know, and what the fuck is perfect? And you don't have to judge yourself. You can just be you and you can just be happy about it. And when you do that, when you give yourself permission to be you and you do more than anything about just giving yourself permission, when you lean into it, when you express yourself, when you take that negativity and you turn it into something positive, when you take your feelings and you express them, when you talk to people about how you feel, when you say how you feel out loud, when you say how you feel through art, you give other people permission to do the same thing. And that's inspiring. Like literally that is what inspiration is. That is what inspiring is. Giving other people permission to get themselves out into the world, to get the things that are here out here, to take the things that are here out here. I can show you how my mind works. I can show you how my heart works. I can show you how I feel through this art. And when I'm done, I'm going to feel better. It's like going for a jog. When you go for a jog, you feel better. You come back and you're healthier. And I think art is the same way. You need to create art with that in mind. That I'm gonna express myself. I'm gonna feel better. And then when you're done, you are better. You've taken negative, you've turned it into positivity, and you're giving other people the permission to do that through your art by sharing your art with people. And I think that's important. Let me check up on the chat here. What's up, Crystal? Look at you in the in the first class seats. Crystal's all over the chat. Thank you, Bob Ross. Thank you, Sunset Bunny. That's sweet of you to say. T-Rex, for real, for real. I mean, this is the first live I've ever watched. Oh, Abby, that was the first live I ever watched. I love how when y'all are kind of like having y'all's own community in the chat. You know what? Thank you so much for what you have taught me. I'm not limited by anything, and I could just be myself. I'm no longer to drink and drive. Oh shit! That's the kind. That's the kind of humor we like here. Through art is one of my best ways to express yourself, so I'm completely agree with this. And it's not just art. You can express yourself in so many different ways. And like art doesn't have to be limited to drawing. Just as long as you're expressing yourself, I think that's what's important. And that could be art too. What's up, Vincent? Welcome to the chat. I think he was just making a joke. Happy birthday, Vincent. This live stream is so slay. Thank you, Nicole. Abby said hi. Draw a bunny driving a car. Okay, I thought you wanted a T-Rex. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Vincent. Welcome to the chat. Everybody in the chat, tell Vincent happy birthday. Everybody hit me with a happy birthday in the chat. Happy birthday, Vincent. So before I get out of here, I just want to remind everybody, Abby, Vincent, Nicole, Gabriel, Golden Chicken, Scoop, Flag, Michael, Rosie, all my people, Struggo. Hey, I love you. I'm proud of you. Keep expressing yourselves. You're not alone. Everything's going to be okay. Don't take it out on your friends and family when you have bad days and conflicts, because you're going to have them. Part of being an artist, part of being a human is having big feelings and dealing with these conflicts. It's going to happen. Don't take it out on your community. Don't take it out on yourselves. Don't take it out on your friends. Don't take it out on the drywall. Okay? Don't take it out on yourselves. Don't take it out on yourself. I'm talking to you. Don't take it out on yourself. The world is a better place because you're in it. The world is a better place because you express yourself through it. The world is a better place because you are being you. And don't you forget that. I'm proud of you. I love you. And I'll see you on the next stream. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. You're important. Take it out on art. Hey, if you're on the vertical stream, we're going to do an after stream. We're doing an after party on Twitch. If you're watching on Twitch, stick around. We're going to do a 5-minute after party on Twitch. Vertical. I love you. Proud of you. Take it out on art. If you want to come hang out with us on Twitch or the horizontal YouTube, we're also doing the after party on the horizontal YouTube. I'll see you there. See, look, I'm going to show you. Y'all go check out the horizontal. Go check out the horizontal.